as that race went on. The fact that she had that much left in the tank to start cutting time in those final 200 yards, very impressive. You see the names here in the men's 1650 final. It's going to be a little bit more wide open. I think it's not much of a surprise to see Anna Main come out on top in the 1650 for the women. On the men's side, see what happens. Devin Caples of Princeton. Matt Fallon is swimming in this race. Talk about high aerobic threshold. They are really trying to get this kid back into shape after his Olympic debut in Paris. And so Fallon, he actually comes out the strongest here. We're going to really get a look at what Matt Fallon is made of, because he is going to swim later in the 200-yard breaststroke. He broke the record actually this morning. He had a 151.44 from 2022 here in the pool, and I believe he broke that this morning.
You know, we talked about the break that Matt took after the Olympics and how deserving that was, and they have to have some, those Olympians, they have to have some time to shut it down a little bit, to relax. There's so much pressure. The entire country's watching. Swimming is one of the most popular Olympic sports, and so there is a lot of pressure that they carry out to that meet with them. Once they finish up the Olympics, most of them take a break, some of them longer than others. From what Coach Mike Schnurr told me, Matt took about a 4-week break, and for a lot of swimmers, including Matt, you know, that may seem like an eternity to him, but this is what we talk about. Each one of these athletes, their coaches, they convey the plan. And for Matt's plan, while no, he's never going to swim the mile at Ivy's, he's not going to swim the 1650 at championships. The goal right now is to get him back into peak shape, right? So we saw him in the 500 freestyle, trying to increase that aerobic capacity. Now we see him racing the mile and turning around and racing the 200 breaststroke again tonight in just a little bit. They're almost taking this 3-day meet as a workout, as a training session. Each one of these sessions is almost like a training session for him. So you're seeing some very different approaches with each individual athlete, and right now Matt Fallon in the lead, 250 yards into this very long race, but he's got control of the race right now.
Just to finish the point on the 200 breast this morning, put up by Matt Fallon, 150.39 was his time. That does beat his DeNunzio pool record that he set in 2022, which was 151.44. So 150.39 is that 200 breast mark. It is a D1A cut time. So Matt Fallon going to be at NCAA's. Yep. No surprise there.
No, he's going to not only just be at NCAA's, he's going to be pushing for a national title this year. He had the opportunity last year to race against Leon Marchand, who was one of the superstars in the Paris Olympics for France, Leon has established himself right up there in the ranks of Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte and a lot of these national or international superstars in swimming. Matt was right along there with him. In short course, Matt's going to go out this year, and he's gunning for that national title. And so the fact that he can put up a 150 point, now what I want to see from him tonight is, can he repeat that 150 point tonight after swimming this 1650? That to me is going to be, might be the most impressive thing he does the entire weekend.
We'll have some time to cool down a little bit. For now, he's in a battle here with Zach Vassar, who just took him over. Middle of the pool for Columbia. Jim Bolster's team looking for some points. Steven Zhukov is also in the pool, currently sitting 4th. So Vassar, Zhukov, Matt Fallon among the top swimmers at the moment, just 4 minutes into the race. Very interesting to see how this shakes out with Mr. Fallon in lane number 2. Connor Buck, you see there, distance swimmer for Princeton. 27.68 on the board for Connor Buck, respectable. Fallon still with a 27.61, so looking at the recent splits, it's still Fallon with the fastest one. I know 200 breast is a really hard stroke and a really hard race. It's one that you also need a high aerobic threshold, so maybe that's why Coach Schnurr can challenge Matt to go out and swim the 1650 here. And it looks like he's up for the challenge. 4:45 in.
both Vassar and Matt Fallon at 27.6 on that last 50, and it looks like that Matt has, he may be swimming this in 500s. He may be breaking it into thirds here, where the first 500, yeah, he was 27.6 from the 450 to the 500. Now that's dropped to 27.3. So Matt moving a little bit in that 500 to 550 leg of the mile here. So it'll be interesting to see if he holds this 27.3, because what that would tell me is that the 1,000, he's going to try to make another move between the 1,000 and the 1,500 and maybe drop down to that 27 low. You can see he's moving a little bit of distance now. 26.9 on that 50 right there. So a big jump down from those 27 mids that he was going just a minute ago. So the idea here is going to be to probably hold this pace to the 1,000, switch gears again to the 1,500, and then race out that last 150 yards. So if that's the game plan, he's executing it really well. Now the question is going to be, can he hold that speed? 26.9 is getting pretty quick for a mile this early on.
Hit the wall again. Let's see, 27.6. So Fallon maintaining a strong pace. 27.84 for Zach Vassar, who's hanging around. James Carreri, Fallon's teammate, is also in the pool with a 27.9. He's in lane number 6.
So here's what I read into that right there. You saw a 26.9 and then you saw a 27.6. There's mind games that go on inside of 1650. And what happens there is Matt decided to push that 150 to see if Zach Vassar was going to go with him or not, and to see if it was all in a distance swimmer will call that breaking somebody. If they can push it a little bit and that person doesn't go, in their mind, okay, I got him right where I want him right now. That's what I'm seeing, because now Matt has settled back into that 27 mid-range, and he's just going to kind of hold that and see where they can go.
Well, I have an idea who might give us some good insight on a distance race, and it's the one who just won it. Anna Main is down with Emily Messina, so we're going to send it down poolside.
Hey guys, I'm down here with our 1650 mile champion, Anna Main, who just swam a best time here in a mid-season meet. Anna, your performance was so incredible, but it was so consistent. You went 26, 28, then 29 low for the entire 1650. When you're in there in your head, is that what you feel like you're going 29 low?
Kind of, you know, my coach even made a comment that was probably the most consistent I've been. You know, my IV time from February, it was out fast and then just slowly dying. So that time I did feel like a little bit more smooth, which helped a lot, I think.
You were able to lower your splits right at the end of the race, turn it on a little bit. How do you have anything left in the tank at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I always just think about my teammates and, you know, how much I love them. And when I try to swim, I remind myself that it's not about me, it's about the team. And that always gives me a little extra boost at the end.
Do you have any way that you split up that mile in your head? Are you going 500, 500, 500, or what are you doing?
Yeah, similar, like 500, 500. I always know that around the 1,000, 1,100 mark, that's when I start feeling really nauseous. So I feel like I'm just kind of swimming up until that point and then just trying to swim through that point.
When we were talking to your coach before this meet, he said that you have to love the work to be a distance swimmer. Do you embrace that grind?
Oh, for sure. And it definitely helps having the teammates that I do, you know, especially that heat had 5 Penn girls. And so that just made it just like practice, and they all love grinding just like I do. So it helps.
Well, it was awesome. Congratulations. Go get some rest now. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Anna really underlining that love for the grind. She says she gets nauseous at that 1,000, 1,100,
Yep.
and she pushes through it. She embraces the pain.
Yeah. And they know it's coming. Like they know if I'm swimming my race right, the way I'm supposed to, that's going to hit at some point, and you kind of have to welcome that. And when it does hit, you kind of go, okay, I'm right where I need to be. This is right where this is supposed to happen. So, like I said, it goes back to that race plan. These athletes know you train to put that feeling off as long as you can. So yeah, it's really great to hear that interview with Emily and hear her talk about how it is her teammates that she trains with every day that kind of give her that motivation to push through that moment when it hits.
Well, Anna Main was talking about her consistency. Matt Fallon, I guess not that surprisingly, has been really consistent here in the 1650. Another 27.5, and he's got a sizable lead. Not an event that Matt Fallon has swum very much, so not a lot of data to go off of in terms of what to expect. But he's an Olympian, so you know he can race, and you know that he can push himself to the absolute best of his ability and a world-class ability. And, man, Matt Fallon making it work at the moment. He's leaving everybody in his wake.
I hope if there's young swimmers watching this, there's so many times that athletes get put in a box. You're a sprinter, you're a breaststroker, you're a backstroker, you're a flyer. I want you to watch Matt Fallon right here. Matt Fallon is the fastest 200-meter breaststroker in American history, right? And he's swimming the mile, and he's winning the mile right now. And he swam the 500. Don't ever put yourself in a box. Be that athlete that wants to be great at everything. Be that athlete that is not afraid to test your limits, because that's what we're seeing right here. Like with Matt, he knows what it's going to take to go and to try to chase this NCAA title, and this is part of it. He doesn't go back to Coach Schnurr and go, I'm a breaststroker, I don't swim the mile. He goes, okay, if it's going to make my breaststroke great in March, then let's do this mile tonight and see what we can do.
Well, we haven't had the tech suit conversation yet. Mike Schnurr, he's very open about being sort of an old school guy. You want to be swimming your best times towards the end of the season. And Matt Fallon, he broke that American record in June, right? And Mike Schnurr, he knows that he's going to get his best times out of his athletes later on in the season. This is an indication that Mike Schnurr has his finger right on the pulse of what's best for his athletes. Matt Fallon, he needs to kick him into shape, and putting him in this 1650 race seems to be the best thing to do.
Coach Schnurr has been doing this for a really long time. He knows what makes athletes successful. He's had a national champion in the mile, an NCAA champion in the mile, and Chris Swanson, and so he knows how to build elite swimmers. And so when athletes come into this UPenn program, they know if I just trust what he says, and you know, we talk about them not having that home facility right now. If I know Coach Schnurr and I know him pretty well, he's telling these guys and he's telling these ladies, hey, just for the record, this water is just as wet as any water we're going to swim in. These walls are 25 yards apart, just like any other pool that we're going to swim in. We can train anywhere and be successful. That's the message that he sends, and that's the kind of performances that are being created out of this semester of training with that program.
That's a big part of the story. Sheer Pool, which was built in 1967, going through a current renovation. It's going to modernize the facility. No announcement for a name change, so it's probably going to stay the same name, but it is a massive renovation. Gonna have some really cool stuff when it's done. Modern auditorium, new locker rooms, offices, team rooms, the whole nine. So they were out of there July 1st. Current plan is to get back there June 1st, but well, at the moment, Matt Fallon and the rest of the Penn men and women, they haven't had much of the normalcy that they're used to having. Again, the women are primarily training at Drexel. Men are a little bit at Drexel, mostly at the YMCA in West Philadelphia. Heard Matt talk about it yesterday. Team is going on a training trip to Florida, and Coach Schnurr's really excited about a little bit of consistency. They're going to be 2 weeks down in Florida, ability to get into a little bit of a routine, and that's when maybe Matt Fallon's teammates start to see the real Matt come out. Well, maybe they're starting to see it now in the 1650.
Well, as we start to move towards the end of this race, we got 250 yards left. They're coming in for the 1450 turn right here with Matt in lane 2. Let's see what his split is, and we'll talk about this training trip coming up. 28.14. So I'm looking at Coach Schnurr, and I'm seeing him go, okay, so this is the point where those splits start to fall a little bit. This is what we've got to train. This is where we've got to continue to bring that up. So he's getting good information. Where does this Florida training trip fit into each program season? These training trips are a great time to build team cohesion, but this is that kind of marks the peak of their training. That is going to be the high water mark throughout every season. That's where they're going to hit their biggest volume. Coaches can do that because they don't have classes to attend at the time. They don't have schedules to hold. There's a beach there. The beach always makes things better. And so you can handle those ridiculously hard training sessions when you can go lay in the sand afterwards and kind of be 85 to 90 degrees down in South Florida, as opposed to, you know, being in the winter somewhere. So it does a little bit for your mental capacity as well. But right now, yeah, we're seeing Matt 27.8 as he went to the 1550. We got 100 yards left in this race. He's still doing a great job. He's going to win this 1650. And now the question for me that I want to see is I want to see how close he can come to that morning swim in the final tonight.
That will definitely be a big story. Last time Matt Fallon was swimming the 1650 back in 2023. He's going to hear the bell here. That was a 15:40.34 in a Penn versus Ryder dual meet in Philly. see. Matt Fallon should be beating that time by a significant margin.
Yeah, he's gonna be probably right around, I'm guessing about 15:06, somewhere in there. This last 50, he's cranking it up, finishing strong. That cap's about to come off.
The Olympian touches the wall and another win here at Big Al. 16:50 win for Matt Fallon, 15:07.24. A fist pump for a personal best and a D1 B cut time. Second place to his teammate James Carreri. And third goes to Steven Zhukov, who he congratulates him out of lane number 3. But Matt Fallon is your winner from start to finish, McGee.
Yeah, you just saw him. He was looking at one of the other competitors and he mouthed, "Ow." that about sums up the 1650 right there. That's a tough race. Super impressive that Matt, the elite level breaststroker that he is able to turn that around. Really look at your top 5 times there. All top 5 guys there, all the way down to Connor Buck from Princeton with 15:14.58. All of them with a Division I provisional time, putting themselves in the mix to make that meet. Now again, same thing applies. These guys are going to need to get well under that 15-minute mark to be kind of in that mix to make NCAAs. Probably closer to the 14:50 mark. So these milers, that's what they're shooting for. They're in a pretty good position mid-season if they're going those times.